I made Mirror my first single for In and Out because I feel like it represents my music. And then I don't know that it's the most catchy or emotionally evocative song, but it's longer and I think it does represent sort of my progressive pop song. And that's kind of why I made it. And I really, okay, so the lyrics for Mirror are written from that poem that I wrote and forgot. Okay, so here's the story. Once upon a time, I was sitting in a car in South Central LA of all places, and it was just, who knew that that night would be so fruitful? I don't know. It was actually not a particularly remarkable night. I wrote a poem in a notebook and then I lost it. And I tried to recreate that poem and it spawned many more lyrics, which is kind of awesome. I have since found the notebook, but have not read the poem. Anyways, I was just, there's a moment in my life where I was sort of in like maximum dissonance as a creator. So this is my early 20s, and on the outside, I was studying classical singing and seriously starting to coach material, like really finding my flock and how do I get myself into a young artist program and somehow mapping out a career. That was the outside. And on the inside, I was smoking a lot of weed and going to parties and doing yoga and exploring sort of a think different alternative culture. And in my heart, I knew that that's where my music was really at on some level, but I didn't know how to merge the two because it was like, well, I know my music theory really well. And anyways, during that time of my life, I wrote some poems and I created some art and made some paintings, and I didn't keep track of it. It was, pure will, unassuaged of purpose. I created it and I let it go. And in that time in my life, it was actually, this time of really, that chaotic, dissonant time was a time of really fruitful sort of seeding. Because I wrote this poem and I keep rewriting it. And I wrote other poems that I don't know where they are. And, recreating those poems, I make new art. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know, but better able to catalog it. And it's interesting how that time in my life of confusion has proven to be sort of a source of creativity. And so that's where the lyrics from Mirror come from. And I just had such a great time. I remember when I wrote Mirror, so basically I wrote Prismatic, and it was a concept. It was like 5 songs, make an album, pick a theme, primary colors. Okay, you have some lyrics, just go, do it. Put the time in the studio. And basically as I finished writing Prismatic, I was just like on a roll. And I literally remember the night that Mirror was happening, I remember I have voice memos from my phone where I'm like, I had to go drive somewhere. I'm making these voice memos as I'm driving because it's like I'm in this song cloud and it's just coming. And I'm like beatboxing and singing the song. And it's really funny because I remember that night. And it just kind of wrote itself really quickly, and some of it was inspired by I was using my keyboard and using GarageBand, and I was playing around with some of the synth sounds. And one of the synths, it was kind of like reverbing on itself in a really cool way. And it doesn't reverb in the same way in all parts of the song because I guess the algorithms are such that it behaves differently based on the music that's around the track. And that was just really cool because I was, using this digital instrument and it was behaving in unexpected ways, unexpected to me ways. That was really cool. So that's some of how Mirror happened. And I just kept kind of exploring the sounds and it was literally, just bringing the music down from the sky, downloading it. It was really cool. I think there's an American poetess, and I can't remember who it was. I don't know, for some reason the name Ruth Watson Henderson comes to mind. I have no idea who that is, but she's actually, there's this famous woman American poetess, and she was poet, and she was talking about how she wrote one of her poems where she was like working in the field, and then she got the idea, and she literally like ran to the house as soon as possible, and she wrote the poem backwards, because it was like she was just like pulling the string back into her body of the entire poem. So she wrote it backwards, and there it was. It's a poem, and it's actually like a classical American poem. There you go. But yeah, I've had some, a little bit of like, what is this mirror? Because I don't know if it's that catchy. It does represent the music. I don't know if it grabs people. It does fit into my sort of paradigm of actually coming as a singer from making art song, where maybe it's not instantly catchy and maybe you like kind of grows on you, because I think that's a lot of what progressive music does. It grows on you.